Welcome, friends. Welcome to our channel. We're glad that you're watching this video. Today, we're making one of my favorite Spanish dishes, paella. We're making non-traditional paella. It's easy, very convenient, and delicious. It's fantastic. My grandparents were from Barcelona, and I've traveled to Spain, I've traveled to Barcelona, and I've had paella in Barcelona in touristy restaurants, and their paella is very similar to what we're used to here in the States. But if you travel through the country, specifically if you go to places like Valencia, and you ask for a seafood paella, they would go crazy. That's sacrilegious. For them, there's only one kind of paella, and that's the paella made with rabbit. And they also use ingredients that are not readily available here in the States. So we have adapted a paella that is very similar in flavors, has the touch of Spain, and is very easy to make. And I hope you like it. Let me know when you make it how you and your family and your guests liked it. So, having said that, let's go over the ingredients. But remember, I will have a list at the end of the video as well. So, no worries. Now, in addition to the rice, chicken broth, olive oil, and Spanish white dry wine, we're going to have gandules. We're going to have imported saffron. Now, if you don't have imported saffron, you can get the Sazon saffron. It works just as nicely. We're going to have some Spanish olives and sweet peppers for garnish. We're going to have about a dozen shrimps. These are frozen, and about as many mussels frozen. I also have some broiled chicken, some chorizo, and some seasoning. Now, the seasoning that we have here is smoked paprika, a teaspoon. We have garlic, a teaspoon, turmeric, half a teaspoon, and oregano, a half a teaspoon. But remember, this is about having fun and making a great meal. And you're the driver. I'm just the co-pilot. So if you want to change some of the ingredients, that's fine. You want to change the chorizo and use ham, perfect. Instead of ham, you want to use pork, fantastic. The seasoning and the love will still be there, and you will end up having a great paella. Now let's cook. I have olive oil in a pan. It's a shallow pan. It's not a typical paella pan, but it's been working for me for so many years that I just can't replace it. To that, once the oil is added, we're going to add 2 cups of pearl rice, Valencia rice, with a generous pinch of saffron. So, if you notice, we don't have onions. We don't have a sofrito going here, because for Spanish cooking, paella cooking, onion is a definite no. So I'm going to add the rice. And I'm just going to let soak some of the oil and let some of the saffron spread evenly. Now to that we're going to add the seasoning that we discussed before. And I want to let that become part of the rice as well. Now I don't want to burn the rice, but the flavoring is just starting to take place. That's what I want. I want the rice to absorb the flavoring as much as possible. Okay, so to that we're going to add 2.5 cups of chicken broth. Beautiful. Very beautiful. Now to the rice and the seasoning, we're going to add the Spanish white wine. Now, beer is just as good. If you watch the video, my arroz con pollo video, you will know that I use beer, but I just have to have some, just happen to have some Spanish dry wine, and it's just magnificent wine. You just couldn't pass the chance to add it. I want this to come to a real heavy boil. I'm gonna add one chorizo, sliced thin, about a cup of, maybe a little bit more, of the cube chicken. By the way, you can use any type of chicken, even the chicken that they sell at the supermarket that is already cooked without flavoring. That's just as good. Because remember, everything is going to absorb the flavoring of the seasoning. I'm going to add the gandules. Now at this point, I don't want the rice to stick to the bottom, but once I start really cooking, I'm not going to touch it because to some extent, a little burnt bottom is fine on the paella. Now to this, I'm going to add 6 shrimps and 6 mussels. And I'm going to let that cook with the rice. And the remaining shrimps and mussels I'm going to save towards the end because I want them to be on top for the presentation, for your guests to see. Now I'm also going to add some of the olives because I want that flavor of the olives. It's really boiling now. So I'm going to cover it, reduce it to medium high, and let it cook for about 15 minutes. And I'm going to check every once in a while to make sure that everything's doing okay. Okay, so it's been cooking for about 10 minutes. I still have some of the broth going on here. So to that I'm going to add the shrimps. And I'm going to put the shrimps on top. And do the same with the remaining mussels. And I'm going to cover it again and let it cook for about another 2 minutes or so. I have turned it off. I'm just going to cover it out and let it sit where it is for a few more minutes until the rest of the liquid is absorbed and it's ready to serve. Come back to you soon. Wasn't that fun to cook? I really enjoy myself. You know, I enjoy the taste of the gandules. It's very typical and it's pretty close to the type of peas that they use in Valencia. But if you don't like or cannot get pigeon peas, gandules, you can leave them out. Or you can even use frozen peas if they're your favorite, or just completely eliminate the peas. You will still have a wonderful paella and you will have just as much fun cooking it. Well, I want you to have a great day today. Please be safe. See you soon. Goodbye.